President in Thailand for the Asia Cooperation Dialogue. Basil Rajapaksa informs court that the land in Malwana does not belong to him. Petitions filed at the Supreme Court against the VAT Amendment Bill. Estate workers continue their protests. 400,000 affected by drought. Hello, good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1 and Shakti TV. I'm Nadim Majid.
And I'm Rahna Farouk. Let's take a look at your top story for tonight. President Maithripala Sirisena arrived in Thailand to attend the Asia Cooperation Dialogue Summit.
The President was received at the airport by Thai Minister of Culture Vira Rojpochanarat as a representative of the Royal Thai government and several others. The Sri Lankan mission in Thailand had also organized an event to welcome the President at his hotel. The Dialogue Summit will take place from the 8th to the 10th of October in Bangkok, that brings together 34 nations in the Asian region. Asia Cooperation Dialogue Summit 2016 will be held on the 9th and 10th in Bangkok, Thailand. Discussions will be held between the countries who will be attending the summit on how to eradicate poverty.
We go straight to Parliament, where Speaker Karujaya Surya made an announcement today regarding the Value-Added Tax Amendment Bill.
I wish to inform Parliament that I have received a copy of the petition that has been filed with the Supreme Court with regard to the VAT Amendment Bill as per the Article 121(1) of the Constitution. Two petitions were filed at the Supreme Court today against the proposed VAT Amendment Bill that has been presented to Parliament. The petitions were filed by UPFA MPs Bandula Gunawardana and Sisira Jayakodi. The petitions were filed citing that Section 1 to 18 of the proposed VAT Amendment Bill are in contravention of the Constitution. Accordingly, the petitioners sought an interpretation to be made by court that the VAT Amendment Bill was not in conformity with the Constitution and that the bill presented should be passed by a two-third majority or a referendum.
The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption filed a case against State Minister A.H.M. Fauzi.
The case was filed before Colombo Magistrate for the possession and usage of a vehicle owned by the Disaster Management Centre while serving in the capacity of Minister of Disaster Management. The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption notes that the State Minister has misused a pickup truck worth 19.5 million rupees obtained by foreign aid and causing losses to the government. In addition, the Minister is charged for influencing the Ministry Secretary as well. The Colombo Chief Magistrate issued notice on the State Minister to appear in court on the 28th in this regard. Colombo Fort Magistrate Lanka Jayaratna ordered 5 suspects, including Chanaka Ratwatha, to be further remanded until the 21st of October. The suspects were arrested for the alleged misuse of more than 4.2 billion rupees worth of state funds. Facts were presented for the suspects to be released on bail, and the decision regarding their bail will be announced on the 21st of October. The Colombo High Court announced that the case against parliamentarian Prasanna Rantunga, his wife and another individual will be taken up for hearing on the 26th of January next year. 15 charges have been filed against Ranatunga for forcefully obtaining 64 million rupees from a businessman. The bail application for former senior DIG Anurasena Naika, who is in remand custody for allegedly concealing evidence with regard to the Wasim Tajuddin homicide, was taken up at the Colombo High Court today. Court ordered the Attorney General to file objection, if any, on the 19th of this month.
Staying in news from the courts, former Minister Basil Rajapaksa informed court today that a 16-acre plot of land in Malwana, of which the ownership was in contention, does not belong to him.
A motion filed by Mudli Jayakodi citing that the 16-acre land in Gangabada Road in Malwana was not purchased or used by him and therefore he cannot be held accountable for its security was taken up at the Pugoda Magistrates Court today. President's Counsel Jayanta Veerasinghe, appearing on behalf of Basil Rajapaksa, informed court that the land does not belong to his client and therefore they have no objection on the sale of the said land. As there was no definite owner for the land, Deputy Solicitor General Thusita Mudalige requested permission from court to sell the land. Magistrate D.K. Ruwan Pathirana postponed the case to the 14th to issue an order in this regard. Basil Rajapaksa does not own this land. Anyone can issue the order and give it away. We have no issue on that. We assisted court to make a correct decision. An appearance for the next hearing was ruled as unnecessary. Mudita Jayakodi will have to come. Basil Rajapaksa is the sole accused in this case. This land was initially purchased by the husband of Nirupama Rajapaksa, Thirukumar Nadeshan. He had given 3 cheques of 10 million rupees each to Mudita Jayakodi. The land was purchased with another 34 million rupees to the total of 64 million rupees. Afterwards, Thirukumar Nadeshan transferred the deed to Mudita Jayakodi after the 8th of January elections. The issue is, where did the money come from? Everyone denies this. The issue we have is Thirukumar Nadeshan has not been mentioned in this case. Basil Rajapaksa left the court premises without making a comment. No, I have a meeting tomorrow. I need to prepare to go to Ratnapura.
The rally of the joint opposition scheduled for tomorrow in Ratnapura was raised in the political sphere today. Minister W.D.J. Senaviratne rejected claims that the Sivali grounds will not be granted, and today the joint opposition challenged the minister's statements.
රත්නපුරේ ජෝන් මාමට උත්තර දෙන්නයි මම අද මෙතෙන්ට
I am here to respond to his statement. The Urban Commissioner in a letter is saying that the Sivali grounds in Ratnapura cannot be given for a national level rally. I wish to tell him that I do not lie and I have not lied. This is the letter. We will be filing a case after this meeting for not allowing us to use this ground. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party will come to Mahinda Rajapaksa. That cannot be stopped.
ඒක නවත්තන්න බෑ කාට?
ඒ කියන්නේ හෙටත් පිපෙන්නේ නැහැ මල.
නෙළුම් මල් ලක්ෂ ගණන් පිපේවි මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමාට නායකත්වය දෙවි.
ඒකපත් විපක්ෂයේ මන්ත්‍රීවරු ගණනාවක් මට කිව්වා ඒකට යන්නේ නැහැ.
Many from the joint opposition inform me that they will not attend it. This is a charade of Basil Rajapaksa. The way we see it, Pavitra Vannayarachi will be made the new General Secretary of Basil's new party. They assume that they are doing something like that. For that group, the rally in Ratnapura will be an obstruction.
හැලිය මේ පොඩි බාධාවක්.
We move away from the political arena to the weather. Dry weather conditions are having an emaciating effect on rural communities in the country, where about 400,000 people have been affected.
The people of Mahartamale in Hingurangoda have been engaged in a daily battle for the past 9 months in search of water. This tube well provides drinking water for the 60 families in this village. However, the tube well too is drying up, forcing people to travel 2 kilometers to draw water from the irrigation canal, which carries water from the Minneria reservoir to the Kaudulla reserve. Using this water, which is contaminated by waste from the Hingurangoda area, poses serious health concerns for the villagers, but they have been left with no choice. The dry weather has also had a severe impact on the deep south of the country, where people living in 25 of the 34 Gramanilari divisions in Hakmana Mathara are wilting away in drought conditions. Wells in the area, which have never dried up in recent memory, are empty, forcing the people here to forego luxuries like bathing. The chronic water shortage has also turned sending children to school into a headache for the parents. While water is being distributed using bowsers, villagers point out that it is insufficient. Kiriapuage Kapurua and his ancestors have been tilling the paddy fields for as long as he can recall. This farmer sold everything he owns in order to cultivate his 15 acres of paddy fields. But after 3 months with no rain, he waits, hoping for mercy from the weather gods. A few months ago, the spill gates of the Tabur reservoir, which irrigates thousands of acres of paddy fields, were opened to let out excess water. Today, farmers are waiting for the reservoir to fill up so that they can cultivate for the Maha season. The people of Pahala Andaravava in Kurudana Hambantura stand on the roadside on the lookout for the water bowser. The bowser only comes once a fortnight and families scurry to gather even a drop of water in any kind of container they can find in their homes. The villagers of Velimadayaya in Monaragala have been digging up the bed of the Heather Oya for the past 3 months in order to quench their thirst. Meanwhile, the Department of Irrigation says no decision can be made on when cultivation can commence for the Maha season until November, given the prevailing drought. The water levels of several major reservoirs has dropped to between 45 and 35%.
The severe drought is prevailing in several districts. One main reason is the change in wind direction over the Indian Ocean. Second, absence of cloud cover above Sri Lanka. Third one, rising ocean temperature due to the El Nino. Fourth one, position of the sun directly above the island. So, sea surface temperature were cooling, but the phase of cooling has slowed. This is the main reason for the present severe droughts.
We
are hoping the rains will come by the middle of this month. We will be holding an alms giving for the gods. Also, for the first time in history, through the Kadavara Perahera, water will be brought from all reservoirs and poured onto the Kala River, with the prayer that rains will come on time and that the farmland will be fertile. We have released a sum of 18.1 million rupees for 16 districts. We have been able to release funds as per the need.
The management of the state's finances continues to draw flack from intellectuals and experts who are now criticizing the government's steps to spend large sums of money on foreign firms for consultancy services.
The services of several international consultancy firms have been sought for numerous projects planned in Sri Lanka. One of these firms is Baker & McKenzie, a global law firm which specializes in financial and commercial tax law, from whom the government has sought consultancy on amending laws and drafting new laws for the proposed financial city project. A statement issued by the Prime Minister's office on the 24th of August notes that the firm will be advising on matters including Indonesian tax law and other similar laws, and that the work will be done via Baker & McKenzie's Hong Kong office. Another project for which Sri Lanka has sought consultancy services is a central program management unit that will underpin ambitious plans to drive economic restructuring and development. The government has hired the reputed global management consultancy firm McKinsey & Company for this purpose at a cost of $2.3 million. The Ministry of Development Strategies and International Trade signed an 18-month agreement with the American firm Sandler, Travis & Rosenberg on the 29th of June. The agreement was inked to educate officials on the peace process, increase economic ties and create market access for Sri Lankan goods and services. The Sri Lankan government will be paying Sandler, Travis & Rosenberg a sum of $630,000 for 1.5 years for these services. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development has also come forward to seek advice from an urban housing planning firm affiliated to the government of Singapore.
Incurring a totally unwanted cost, and in addition, giving these information which are extremely vulnerable strategic information to many people is creating economic vulnerability, national vulnerability to the country. One asks the question, is it necessary whether these consultancies should be followed the way it is now being introduced as a new thing, and what will happen to the indigenous abilities that we have developed, and definitely that will be discouraged, and also it will make our country as a vulnerable entity among the competing countries and competing individuals who are outside this country.
This is shameful. The way I see it, there are two primary causes for this. One is the lack of faith our policymakers have in our own people. And secondly, it is possible that this is being done with corrupt motives. I see that they are hoping to do through foreign companies what they cannot do locally and earn indirect benefits for themselves.
Another project got off the ground today under the Gammadda 100 Days initiative, which continues to pioneer development across rural Sri Lanka.
The Gammadda 100-Day initiative. This bridge, which provides access to the village of Dellava in the Nellua administrative division in Galle, is transformed into a death trap when it rains. The villagers, who could no longer waste valuable time on their daily travel, undertook what repair work they could on this bridge. The bridge is now being constructed under the Gammadda 100-Day initiative, resolving several issues faced by the villagers. This bridge has become a serious challenge for the villagers in their day-to-day lives. Now, through the Gammadda initiative, we have come to the grassroots level. We have listened to the people and we have given them a solution that works for them. Harinda Fonseca, who operates a humanitarian relief website, was also present at the occasion. The Sri Lanka Export Credit Insurance Corporation, which has provided financial assistance for numerous projects undertaken through the Gammadda 100-Day initiative, is also supporting this project. Tea is the main source of income for the people of Palikanda. They support our country as indirect exporters. We have joined several such projects in this recent past with the Sirasa Media Network. Through the Gammadda 100-Day initiative, we have been able to fulfill certain duties which were taken on by political leaders through the vote, but were not carried out. We fearlessly accept this challenge. Among other projects, the Gammadda 100-Day initiative continues to serve rural Sri Lanka through the construction of roads and bridges, resolving the human-elephant conflict and saving lives from the clutches of kidney disease.
The beleaguered pound sterling suffered a flash crash in which it briefly plummeted 6% within minutes to a new 31-year low, intensifying concerns about Britain's exit from the European Union.
The crash occurred during a twilight period between major market trading hours after the close of markets in the US and just as Asian traders were starting their day. There was speculation a technical glitch or human error had sparked a rash of computer-driven orders. The Bank of England has confirmed that it will investigate the cause of a sharp fall in the value of the pound plunged in mysterious circumstances in overnight trading in Asia.
On to a news story that is dominating the headlines. Perpetual Treasury is earning an unusual profit for the year 2015 was widely discussed today on the Newsline program.
The supervisory team had found the Perpetual Treasuries had made money simply out of the money they have borrowed from the central bank. They have abused the intraday liquidity facility where they can borrow at 7.5%. Reverse repo facility they can borrow at 7.5%, about 5 to 6 billion rupees. And they have lent to the government of Sri Lanka at 10 to 11%. So you can see it has given an opportunity for a particular enterprising primary dealer to make money when he didn't have a sufficient resource base, and the report has highlighted that kind of practice has to be stopped immediately because it gives a bad signal to the market. There's a detailed list of the bids made by the perpetual treasuries significantly above the prevailing market interest rates, and that also has to be investigated according to the report that has been prepared by the central bank.
If I was given 3 words to describe this whole thing, I would choose the same word to be repeated 3 times, and that would be shame, shame, and shame, because this is an absolute shame.
Attempts made to resolve the wage issue of the estate workers have failed again.
Protests by estate workers demanding their daily pay to be increased to 1,000 rupees entered day 12 today. Protesters obstructed the Colombo-Hatton road from the Shannon junction, causing heavy traffic on the Colombo-Hatton and Hatton-Kandy main road. Protesters also obstructed the Hatton-Nuwara-Eliya road at the Maliapur junction today. Another demonstration at the Kuruvita junction on the Ratnapura-Colombo main road disrupted vehicular movement in the area this morning. Workers from 5 estates protested this morning at the Aruppanakanda area in Kalutara. The protest also disrupted vehicular movement. The proposal to solve the issue at hand is to raise the daily wage to 730 rupees. However, estate owners and trade unions have failed to reach an agreement on this proposal. What we'd noticed was a downfall in the tea market. There is a decline in the demand for tea, and on the other hand, the tea production is inefficient. When all these are considered, this is a dangerous situation for the country's economy as a whole.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe made an announcement in Parliament today over a recent statement which was made by the Chief Minister of the Northern Province.
Though a statement was made, there is a constitution in the country. We are preparing a new constitution. We are doing it for us. Persons may make requests, but with the majority view of the country and with all political parties, let's make a decision and implement that. Not only the Chief Minister, but several others have also made statements. They should refrain from doing so. It is not the Chief Minister who makes a decision on the new constitution, but it is the Constitutional Assembly that will do so following the report by the steering committee.
A debate arose in Parliament over the report tabled in Parliament yesterday on MPs using helicopters for their travels.
Regarding the front page story in the Daily Mirror today, it says several ministers, officials did not pay for hiring helicopters. This is in relation to Daily Mirror. This is in relation to, sir, the answers I tabled yesterday for the questions raised by Honourable Gamampila. Sir, in this story, sir, it has implicated several ministers. I have to clearly say, sir, that this story is false. None of these ministers owe a single cent to the Ministry of Defence or the Air Force. So all these ministers, sir, most of these ministers have accompanied the Prime Minister or the President in their official tours. So there is absolutely no money that is needed by these ministers.
I must ask whether activities in Parliament are also reported by obtaining information over the telephone from various persons. The issue was with regard to the ministers who use government helicopters without making any payments. You had produced a list of names on that. That is not a mistake made by the media. How come all the newspapers reported the exact same wrong news? The media personnel do not obtain this from the speeches and responses made here or from the Hansard. One person tells it to them.
මෙතන ඉන්න කෙනෙක් ගිහිල්ලා කියනවා මෙන්න මේ මම බලන්නේ නැමෙතුමා නැත්නම් එකම වැරද්ද හැම පුවත්පත්වලම කොහොමද තියෙන්නේ දැන් ගරු කතානායකතුමනි මෙතන මේ බරපතල වැරද්ද මාධ්‍ය කරා මාධ්‍ය මේ එකතු වෙලා කරන කුමන්ත්‍රණයක් වගේ අදහස වැරදි ඒක සම්පූර්ණ වැරදි කතානායකතුමනි එහෙම අවස්ථා ඇති හැබැයි මේ අවස්ථාව එහෙම එකක් නෙවෙයි ප්‍රශ්නේ නිශ්චිත ලෙස අහනවා ඔබතුමාලා මේ ගෙදර මුවහමට තලනවා වගේ මේ මාධ්‍යයට තලන්න හදන්න එපා මේ ආණ්ඩුවට
The government does not need to pressure the media. The persons here are the ones who were having a meal at temple trees when the people were pressured. There is nothing new on that.
Mangala Samaravira, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, announced the government's stance with regard to the 19th SAARC summit.
There were concerns, Mr. Speaker, being expressed by some regarding the statement issued by the government in relation to the postpone of the 19th SAARC summit, which was to be held in Islamabad next month. At this point, Honourable Speaker, at no point, Mr. Speaker, I would like to stress, did the government of Sri Lanka pull out of the 19th SAARC summit. At no point did the government of Sri Lanka decide to boycott the SAARC summit to be held in November. those who make those allegations and accusations either do through ignorance or lack of knowledge of the SARC Charter.
Also in Parliament, the Speaker of the National Council of the Federal Assembly of Switzerland, Christa Markwalder, held bilateral discussions with her Sri Lankan counterpart, Speaker Karu Jayasuriya, today.
Speaker of the Swiss Parliament arrived in the island on an invitation extended by Speaker Karu Jayasuriya. Christa Markwalder viewed the parliamentary sessions today from the gallery. Bilateral talks were held thereafter at the Speaker's office. She also called on Leader of the Opposition R. Sambandhan today. Speaker of the Swiss Parliament Christa Markwalder also met Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe today.
Minister of Housing and Construction Sajith Premadasa placed the foundation stone for the paddy storage in Lunugam Vehera.
The paddy storage, constructed under the Ministry of Regional Development at the cost of 30 million rupees, is expected to accommodate 1,500 metric tons of paddy. During the reign of the previous king, there were no major paddy storage facilities in the Hambantota district. They could have at least fulfilled the basic infrastructure requirement of the farmers. However, they obtained millions and billions in loans for high interest rates whilst taking commissions, placed deposits in dollars, pounds and euros in Dubai banks. They did that, but did not make paddy storages.
Political analyst and former diplomat Dr. Dayan Jayathilaka commented today on the statement that was made by the Prime Minister at the Indian Economic Summit 2016 yesterday.
Addressing the Indian Economic Summit 2016 held in New Delhi, the Prime Minister stated that the Economic Technology Cooperation Agreement, or ETCA, will be finalized by the end of this year. The Prime Minister added that through ETCA, our country will receive a strategic economic advantage along with South Indian states of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala and Telangana. Discussions are afoot to construct 4-lane roads from Jaffna to Mannar, Mannar to Colombo via Kurunegala and Mannar to Trincomalee via Vaunia.
Prime Minister Wickremesinghe's vision, as rolled out at the Economic Summit, completely abandons that policy, the bipartisan policy of D.S. Saranayaka, Madam Bandanayaka, President Premadasa, etc., etc. What he has done is to open the doors and the windows and even raise the roof to a huge economic input from Tamil Nadu. Now, Tamil Nadu is a place where anti-Sri Lankan sentiment and pro-Tamil Eelam sentiment is so high that Chief Minister Jayalalitha included a promise to construct a Tamil Eelam in her election-winning manifesto last year. So, this is a place where there's a lot of hostile sentiment towards Sri Lanka. There is a kind of an aggressive sentiment. And I don't think that it is wise at all to permit a huge economic stake in Sri Lanka to be held by the state of Tamil Nadu, which is so hostile to Sri Lanka.